On a quiet morning in late August 2025, Incheon International Airport witnessed a moment that went largely unnoticed by the public, but signaled the beginning of something monumental in the world of fashion. Jungkook, global superstar and face of Calvin Klein, returned to South Korea, unaccompanied, unannounced, and unfazed by the usual media frenzy that often surrounds his every move. Dressed in a simple black hoodie, wide-leg jeans, and a pair of monochrome Calvin Klein sneakers, Jungkook's low-key appearance was deliberate. This trip was not about concerts or promotions. It was business, focused, detailed, and directly tied to one of the brand's most ambitious retail projects to date, the grand opening of Calvin Klein's flagship store in Tokyo, Japan. This wasn't Jungkook's first collaboration with the brand, but it marked the first time he would be actively involved in behind-the-scenes planning, conceptualization, and execution of a major international launch. Calvin Klein had chosen Tokyo, a city known for its fashion-forward crowd and cultural blend of minimalism and modernity, as the next step in its Asia-Pacific expansion. And Jungkook was at the center of that plan. His decision to first land in Seoul before traveling to Japan might seem puzzling, but for those familiar with Jungkook's working style, it made perfect sense. Seoul is not just home. It's where his creative team, stylistic advisors, and core decision-makers reside. It's also where Calvin Klein's Asia-Pacific branding team has recently established a temporary operational base specifically for this campaign. For the next 2 weeks, Seoul would serve as the strategic hub for what insiders were already calling Project Tokyo. Upon arrival, Jungkook was picked up by a discreet vehicle, avoiding the main terminal exits. Sources close to his management team revealed that his itinerary had been deliberately kept secret, with only a handful of Calvin Klein executives aware of his movements. This level of confidentiality wasn't for show. It was part of the larger approach the brand and Jungkook agreed upon, to prioritize substance over spectacle. Back at his Seoul residence, meetings began immediately. His stylist team arrived early that afternoon with racks of clothing samples, new accessories, and digital mock-ups of potential campaign visuals. Calvin Klein's creative director for Asia, Thomas Berenger, had flown in from Singapore to personally present the latest store design concepts. While Jungkook is not a designer by trade, his influence on the Calvin Klein image has been undeniable. His eye for minimalist aesthetic and his comfort-driven fashion sensibility has reshaped how the brand connects with Gen Z and millennial markets across Asia. Day one of his return concluded with a private strategy dinner in Gangnam, attended by representatives from Calvin Klein, HYB's branding unit, and select Korean fashion consultants. A source who attended the dinner stated that the atmosphere was extremely focused but surprisingly relaxed, with Jungkook participating in every discussion point, especially when it came to the in-store visual layout and campaign themes. His dedication to the project was already setting a different tone. While many celebrity brand ambassadors typically limit their involvement to appearing in front of the camera, Jungkook's return to South Korea was evidence that he had become something more than just a face of a campaign. He had evolved into a strategic collaborator. Over the next few days, the pace intensified. Product fittings were held daily, with Jungkook reviewing multiple collections set to premiere at the Tokyo event. Every detail, from fabric choice to color coordination, went through his personal review. His stylist of over 7 years, Seo Minji, confirmed that Jungkook insisted on trying each outfit himself, sometimes even mixing and matching pieces to create combinations the Calvin Klein team hadn't initially considered. On the third day, a 2-hour creative session took place at HYB's studio complex. The session focused on multimedia content to be used during the Tokyo store launch. Jungkook's musical background was incorporated. Short musical loops and ambient sounds created by him during his downtime would be used in immersive in-store installations, bridging the gap between fashion and sound design. By the end of the first week, the outline of the Tokyo campaign had been locked. Calvin Klein's Japanese team was briefed via a multi-hour virtual session led by both Korean and US representatives. Jungkook, seated at the head of the virtual table, took charge of introducing the brand tone and vision for the Tokyo launch, emphasizing simplicity, inclusion, and cultural nuance. His words were precise, devoid of performance drama, yet persuasive enough to impress not only the Japanese branding team but also executives from the US headquarters who joined the call. His calm demeanor and clarity reflected months of brand alignment and a deeply professional approach to his role as global ambassador. This chapter of Jungkook's journey, though far from the stage lights and music charts, demonstrated a different kind of influence, one that reshapes branding strategies, cross-cultural campaigns, and the evolving role of celebrities in global business. As the second week in Seoul approached, the conversation was already shifting from preparation to execution. With plans nearing completion, the next step was Tokyo, but Jungkook's return to Korea had already done its job. It laid the foundation for something bigger than a retail opening. It marked a turning point in how brands and artists collaborate in a post-influencer era. The collaboration between Jungkook and Calvin Klein did not emerge spontaneously. It was the result of months of strategic negotiation, brand alignment, and market observation. Calvin Klein, a long-established American fashion house known for its minimalist design and bold campaigns, had been searching for a new face to lead its expansion in Asia. Meanwhile, Jungkook, widely regarded as a global icon through his work with BTS, was entering a new phase of his career, with interests expanding beyond music into fashion, art, and brand consulting. Their initial contact began through intermediaries in the latter half of 2023. Calvin Klein's regional marketing unit in Seoul conducted market research indicating that Jungkook had the highest engagement rates across key fashion-related demographics in Asia. His social media posts related to fashion consistently outperformed other celebrities, and his personal style, marked by simplicity, modern edge, and brand versatility, aligned closely with Calvin Klein's design language. By early 2024, both parties agreed to a formal engagement. Jungkook was announced as the global brand ambassador for Calvin Klein, with his debut campaign released in March 2024. The campaign rollout included billboard placements in Seoul, Tokyo, New York, and Paris, as well as a series of digital ads designed for short-form video platforms. The results were immediate. Calvin Klein reported a surge in online traffic in the Asia-Pacific region and a double-digit increase in quarterly sales, particularly in South Korea and Japan. More importantly, Jungkook's involvement went beyond traditional promotional responsibilities. Unlike other endorsements where celebrities serve as passive figures, his partnership was structured around creative input. Calvin Klein offered Jungkook a role in product selection, campaign visuals, and event planning, a model more aligned with creative consulting than simple ambassadorship. And internal documents later disclosed during brand conferences. Executives at Calvin Klein referred to the partnership as adaptive branding, where the brand adjusts its strategy based on collaborative input from culturally relevant figures. Jungkook was cited as the prototype for this model. Throughout 2024, Jungkook participated in multiple closed-door workshops with Calvin Klein's creative teams in New York and Seoul. These meetings covered upcoming seasonal lines, design themes, and customer engagement strategies. According to an insider from the brand's New York office, Jungkook displayed a deep understanding of fashion psychology, consumer habits, and the shifting values of younger demographics. His perspective was particularly valuable in addressing a core challenge Calvin Klein faced: how to remain culturally relevant in a competitive Asian market where trends shift rapidly, and global brands often struggle to localize authentically. Jungkook provided that cultural bridge, fluent in global aesthetics while remaining grounded in regional expectations. One of the pivotal moments in their collaboration was the capsule collection launched in late 2024. Co-curated by Jungkook, the collection was a limited release featuring gender-neutral basics with subtle reinterpretations of Calvin Klein's classic silhouettes. The collection sold out within 48 hours of release and was restocked twice due to unprecedented demand in Tokyo, Singapore, and Hong Kong. The success of that project laid the foundation for more integrated involvement. It was during the final planning stages of that capsule line that the idea of a flagship store in Tokyo emerged. Tokyo, already a fashion capital, represented an opportunity for Calvin Klein to test the scalability of their adaptive branding strategy. But to achieve that goal, the company needed a central figure who could anchor the campaign with authenticity, influence, and a clear creative point of view. By mid-2025, plans for the Tokyo flagship store were finalized. Jungkook was not only to be the face of the campaign but also act as creative collaborator. His involvement included selecting the visual themes of the store, overseeing marketing narratives, and participating in the pre-launch strategy meetings. This arrangement set a pace. As Calvin Klein's Tokyo flagship launch drew closer, operations moved into their most critical phase: cross-border execution. With the core planning completed in Seoul, the next challenge involved translating the vision into a tangible experience on-site in Japan. For Jungkook and the Calvin Klein team, this meant aligning creative, logistical, and operational elements across two countries while adhering to tight timelines and high expectations. The Tokyo store, set to open in the upscale district of Omotesando, represented not just another retail location, but a strategic pivot. The store would be the brand's largest in East Asia and the first to fully implement the hybrid campaign model established during Jungkook's involvement. Preparations began months in advance, but it wasn't until August 2025 that the collaborative teams from South Korea and Japan began their final coordination efforts. One of the most important steps in this phase was establishing a direct pipeline between Jungkook's creative team and the Calvin Klein Japan office. A satellite coordination hub was set up temporarily in Seoul, connecting marketing directors, visual merchandisers, and digital content producers in real time with their counterparts in Tokyo. Virtual meetings took place daily, covering everything from display designs and LED screen content to scent branding and product placements. According to an internal schedule obtained by fashion media outlets, the Tokyo store would include multiple immersive zones, an experience tunnel showcasing Jungkook's Calvin Klein campaigns, a digital projection room featuring AR-enhanced product exploration, and a minimalistic central gallery design to reflect the aesthetics Jungkook had curated. This was more than visual presentation. It was an attempt to link the physical retail space with the digital-first preferences of Gen Z and millennial consumers. Jungkook had emphasized this concept during strategic briefings, advocating for interactive zones that encourage content sharing across platforms like TikTok and Instagram. His understanding of digital behavior played a vital role in how Calvin Klein framed the store layout. Simultaneously, product curation for the launch was underway. The selection process, overseen jointly by Calvin Klein's merchandising unit and Jungkook's stylists, focused on creating a Tokyo edit, a limited-time collection featuring exclusive colorways and accessories. This edit would only be available at the Omotesando store for its first 2 weeks. Many of these items had already been previewed by Jungkook in private photo shoots held in Seoul prior to his departure, in mid-August. Samples of the collection were shipped from New York and sold to the Tokyo location, with final fittings and stylings conducted in a secure facility within the store. Jungkook, still stationed in Seoul at this point, participated remotely in reviews, offering notes on display aesthetics and styling sequences, alongside product and layout preparations. The campaign's content division focused on creating exclusive multimedia assets. These included pre-recorded footage of Jungkook discussing the collaboration, behind-the-scenes moments from Seoul, and high-definition visual loops set to instrumental scores produced under his direction. The plan was to display these assets continuously inside the store's digital spaces, creating a curated mood that bridged fashion and audiovisual design. Meanwhile, coordination with Japanese media was underway. Although the campaign intentionally avoided excessive public promotion before the launch, select fashion journalists and influencers were invited to private previews. Calvin Klein's Tokyo team issued non-disclosure agreements, ensuring that campaign details remained confidential until the store's grand unveiling. Still, rumors and leaks began circulating across forums, especially when Jungkook's name appeared on preliminary guest lists and local event permits. The cross-functional nature of the campaign also introduced complex scheduling logistics. Jungkook's team worked closely with HYB's management division to finalize travel dates, health and security clearances, and scheduling blocks for rehearsals and walkthroughs. Travel protocols between South Korea and Japan were streamlined, with Calvin Klein arranging for chartered transport for staff and materials to minimize disruption. By late August, final rehearsals began. Although Jungkook had not yet arrived in Tokyo, his full digital presence was tested in the store environment. His audio-video segments were reviewed for fidelity, transitions, and spatial consistency. Lighting technicians calibrated the room environments to match the mood boards that had been signed off in Seoul. A Calvin Klein representative in Japan described the effort as one of the most structured store activations in the company's history. Unlike typical flagship events that rely heavily on in-person celebrity presence, this campaign was engineered to function as a continuous experience before, during, and after launch. Jungkook's influence, though remote at this stage, was deeply embedded in each layer of execution. Back in Seoul, Jungkook concluded his final week of preparation by recording campaign commentary and confirming product alignment. Reports indicated that he preferred a leaner schedule to ensure he could personally approve every element before flying to Tokyo. On the final day before his departure, he joined a virtual town hall with Calvin Klein's Japan staff, offering brief remarks and expressing appreciation for the team's attention to detail. Though his comments were concise, they reinforced the guiding principle of the campaign: modern retail must be immersive, collaborative, and adaptive. The Tokyo launch was not just a brand event. It was a multi-dimensional project built on months of cross-border planning and creative partnership. As Jungkook's flight to Tokyo was scheduled, final briefing documents were distributed across all operational teams. These documents included emergency communication protocols, media interaction guidelines, and walkthrough plans for Jungkook's in-store appearance, scheduled for a closed VIP session prior to public opening. Security preparations were also finalized in coordination with Tokyo Metropolitan Police due to expected crowd presence. Meanwhile, Calvin Klein's global offices prepared for parallel digital release. On the same day the Tokyo store opened, campaign videos, still images, and digital content would be released across all Calvin Klein platforms, ensuring global visibility even for those who could not attend the launch physically. The road to Tokyo was marked by a highly integrated collaboration model. What began as creative discussions in Seoul evolved into a full-scale binational operation involving logistics, design, media, and technology. Jungkook's active role in these preparations highlighted a significant shift in how brands now work with public figures, not as marketing tools, but as collaborators in the full scope of project delivery. As the aircraft carrying Jungkook departed Incheon International Airport, Tokyo was ready. Upon his arrival in Tokyo, Jungkook entered not only a new geographic space, but also the final stage of a project that had been under development for months. Yet his involvement did not stop at physical presence. Jungkook's unique role in the Tokyo Calvin Klein flagship opening extended deep into the core of the brand's fashion strategy, influencing both the creative and commercial dimensions of the launch. At its foundation, Calvin Klein's Tokyo campaign centered on two guiding principles: minimalism and cultural adaptability. These were not abstract concepts, but operational directives that governed store layout, merchandise selection, branding tone, and consumer engagement. It was within these frameworks that Jungkook's contributions proved most substantial. One of the first strategy sessions held on-site in Tokyo included a closed-door review of the merchandise flow, led by Calvin Klein's global visual merchandising director. Jungkook, alongside a translator and his stylist team, walked through each key zone of the store, evaluating garment groupings, light temperature, shelving symmetry, and visual anchors. His commentary was detailed and practical. For example, he suggested altering the arrangement of unisex denim jackets to face outward at eye level, noting that the design cut would be more impactful when seen from the front rather than folded on shelves. This level of fashion sensibility, while not formally trained, came from years of global exposure. From red carpets to editorial campaigns and personal styling, Jungkook had developed a visual vocabulary rooted in both intuition and consumer response. As a public figure, he had witnessed firsthand which silhouettes, fabrics, and combinations elicited engagement, and which ones were overlooked. Calvin Klein executives were particularly responsive to his observations regarding fabric selection. During a review of the limited edition Tokyo edit, Jungkook questioned the inclusion of a rigid cotton blend used in one of the new outerwear pieces. He expressed concern that the material, while visually appealing, may not suit Tokyo's transitional weather conditions in late summer. The brand's design team took the feedback seriously and made adjustments to the promotion timeline of that piece, delaying its push until cooler months. This practical foresight reinforced a strategic shift Calvin Klein had been exploring: responsive merchandising guided by collaborative influencers. Jungkook's ability to tie aesthetic considerations to market behavior gave the campaign a layer of adaptability often missing from static global launches. Additionally, his role in shaping the brand's tone within the Tokyo context was central. Through workshops and content reviews, he ensured